we have Sutekh has a strange idea for gifts. A Welsh beheading looks distinctly unfriendly. Early Doctor Who deals with mental health in prisons. And the Doctor has a problem with twin adricts. Welcome to another Cliffhangers and Nail Biters show, our semi-regular series, where we've all got an opinion on a cliffhanger, don't we? Now, as you know, each show is different. It's curated for the tastes and experiences and memories of the guest panellist. Everyone has a reason for reminiscing, experiencing, and loving those cliffhanger moments. Today, we have John, who we've had on before and would love to have on again. He's a mine of information, as proven in his books, and these only a few, on the Generation Game, various Doctors. Might as well give it a plug, John, right?
Yeah, they're good doorstops. If you ever need a fancy doorstop, then these books should do the trick because they are quite hefty.
They certainly are. I remember when you showed me, for example, I think it was a Generation Game one last time, and you said you were working on another Generation Game one, weren't you?
I am, yeah, but it was a bit delayed. But I almost don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it. But I'm hoping that the second volume and the last volume, it should be out in November.
Right. Okay. I know. I won't press it.
I'm working on it right now. I'm over halfway through. I'm literally going through all my scribble notes, which I've written down about 8 years ago, I think, because I found them again in the loft. So I just dusted them down, and just going through each one by one. So hopefully, volume 2 will be out in November. I say tentatively because I don't want to jinx it.
Well, it's okay. You take your time, and we'll get your other ones on Amazon, Kindle edition or not, and you can get all the different versions of the Doctor as shown here. Just look him up, and there he is. So, welcome to. Well, really, it's your selection. It's your show of your favourite and dud cliffhangers. So this should be. It's always a fun one because I'm always intrigued why people picked their versions, so to speak. So I suppose I might as well start with when you were going through your list, and I remember you sent me various texts with different themes and everything, but basically,
There was a little bit of back and forth because some of them I think you used before.
Yeah.
But I suppose the thing that I kind of came up with, and it was a bit of a loose thing, is I suppose, pardon my French, bastards in trouble, I suppose.
Well, you can say that. What to you makes an outstanding cliffhanger in Doctor Who terms?
That is a good question. I think it's got to be quite, it has got to be quite gripping. It's got to be quite, it's got to be quite scary. Ideally, a little bit of horror in there, but also a little bit of mystery as well. And I think one of them, which is Masque Mandragora Part 3, it's actually got that, sort of a little bit of mystery as to where the hell do we go from here after that.
Yeah. I know. I mean, there's the classic first one. I know this is episode 4 of Unearthly Child, picture-wise, because I just like to get that shot. But yeah, that's a brilliant template. I always go back to that one. My favourite NUwho cliffhanger possibly is Stolen Earth, when, of course, it all built up like hell and the Hawk's regeneration. And then I look at this one and think, well, we didn't know the TARDIS could travel. We didn't know where we were. A shadow is classic. And lots of silence in the TARDIS when everybody's concussed and everything. I thought, that's not a bad first cliffhanger.
That's a great cliffhanger, isn't it? I remember watching it, because, not the first time, I'm not that old, but it was the Five Faces of Doctor Who. And I remember I was 7 years old, and I remember watching that and thinking, oh, that's a really great clip. And this was all brand new because I was only used to like the Tom Baker stuff. So I have very little knowledge about like the black and white days.
Yeah. I remember. Five Faces of Doctor Who. I mean, what a. I didn't know much about the Crotons, so it was fascinating just to see the Crotons for 4 episodes, and I actually really fell in love with that story.
I enjoy it. I mean, I know where people don't like it, but I suppose again it's nostalgia value, isn't it? Oh, I remember those horrible November days of, coming home from school and thinking, oh, at least I can see, the Crotons. And I still enjoy it.
I remember the Five Faces and hating Friday because I think you did it Monday to
It's
Thursday, didn't
Monday
you?
to Thursday, yeah, and then there wasn't anything on Friday. But I mean, Mondays were brilliant because you had Doctor Who, you had the Adventure Game, and then you had Blake Seven, and you had all those three to look forward to in November, which was great.
Oh, I remember, yeah, the adventure game as well. That was another classic. It was very kind of Whoish in a way because you obliterated people if they went wrong on that
Oh
board.
yeah, the Vortex, yeah. They got evaporated, didn't they? With a very obvious BBC micro effect that went into the air.
Classic, absolutely classic. Well, let's have a look at your first choice, and I think we're going to go comfortably into the mid 70s here, everybody. So I hope everybody enjoys a bit of Masque of Mandragora. Here we
Shadow
go.
passes over the moon.
This is all a great waste of time.
Answer him.
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
On what?
On whether the cock crows 3 times before dawn, and all it requires is a colourful imagination and a glib tongue.
And you prepare the execution.
Would you have...
Who is that man?
A spy.
You are blessed, my child.
Few...
Whoa. So, what made you pick that one, John?
Oh god, I'm going to sound like a real arse here, but I think I put down part 3 when Federico is zapped.
Yeah.
So yes, it was actually part 3, but I chose. But I can talk about this one as well because it is a good one. What am I going to say about that? I mean, the reason I did choose part 3 of the Mask of Mandragora when Federico was killed by Hieronymus.
Yeah.
I think that is a great cliffhanger. Because Federico he's completely in his own world, and in that episode he thinks like he's basically won the day. He's managed to get rid of his nephew. He's got the Doctor and his companion in prison. He's got Marco in prison as well. He holds all the cards. And then Hieronymus comes along and rains on his parade, and literally just zaps him to death. And I really enjoyed that. So that is my original. But this is a good one too, because it's 2 for the price of 1, isn't it? You've got Sarah. Yes, sorry, Bernie, go on.
No, it's all right. A Mask of Mandragora is a funny one for me. I suppose it's in a strong season as per usual, and it's a bit like Android Invasion in the other season. It doesn't mean it's a bad one, but it's a dip to me compared to all the others. Now, Mask of Mandragora, I've never been one to keep going back to, so I find it fascinating when you picked one, you see, whether it was 1 or 3, isn't that classic? But so on the 3, you mean that you have that moment when the villain looks as though he's got everything he wants, and it's like, how do we get out of this? Everything's fallen into place.
Yes.
I suppose this one, because I was wondering why you picked this one. And now I know why you didn't. But
it's okay. It's all right. This is a good one too. Like I said, it's 2 for the price of 1. You've got Sarah, who's going to be captured by who's going to be drugged by the Brotherhood of Demnos, Brethren of Demnos, I mean. And then you've got the Doctor, who's going to be beheaded. So they're both. It's a good strong cliffhanger. But part 3 is that is a great one.
Right.
Well.
I'll try and slot it in a bit later. But what I'll do is I just thought Tom Baker, sometimes he's cheeky and flippant, you know how he does it. But in this one, he sounds so strong. And I find it fascinating with where we are with Doctor Who now with Mavity and magic and that. He is dismissing anything to do with astrology, hocus pocus, and he's pretty damning. I mean, I'll just play this bit again.
Shadow passes over the moon.
This is all a great waste of time.
Answer him.
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
On what?
On whether the cock crows 3 times before dawn, and all it requires is a colourful imagination and a glib tongue.
He's very, I mean, talk about a clipped tongue. He's sharp there. I mean, there's no little mischievous delight in his eye. He is being pretty scathing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that is what you want. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, you know, all the you know, the NUwho stuff, that is banned. That is banned in this house because it is just so. you know what? I've just had enough of NUwho. I really have. You know, just everything about it. But that is, you know, you've got a Doctor who is completely on top of his A game. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's commanding when it's necessary, but he's also funny as well. I mean, you know, I think that line is what, you know, the line about what was it, 12 hens before Adam, you know.
Yeah, I'll play it again.
Addled eggs, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because he actually had a list of 3, and as you know, it's hard to do the 3-second clip, so I took one of them because yes,
sure.
he's even more damning. He did do a classic rhetorical list of 3, but here we go.
This is all a great waste of time.
Answer him.
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
On what?
On whether the cock crows 3 times before dawn, and all it requires is a colourful imagination and a glib tongue.
He's in danger for his life here. There's an execution pending. Doesn't matter. He is saying magic is magic, astrology is astrology, and more fool you. Isn't it fascinating if you went a few years later and compared to Creature from the Pit with Organon, and with that astrologer, there was more mirth and humor with him, as if the Doctor actually kind of liked what he was trying to get up to, whereas here I'm having none of it. Maybe because we're in Renaissance Italy and he can see what these are doing and they're just too dangerous.
Yeah, there's a very smart parallel between like the superstitious element and also the aim of Mandragora, which is kind of like to convert everybody into sheep. And that's one of the quotes, isn't it? In part 4, he says, idle, mindless, useless sheep, I think is the quote that he comes up with. So it's a very neat dovetail. It's a very really good, really clever script. I mean, there's a lot of thought and, you know, intelligence behind it. And I think that's one thing that the Masque of Mandragora isn't credited enough for. I think it's a really good sword and sorcery science fiction adventure, but it's also, you know, quite an intelligent kind of allegory as well, which is brilliant, I think.
And of course, I always wonder about the writer's choices, because I'll show a bit more of the clip here, for example, and Sarah's in danger again. It's like death to the Daleks. She's going to be the sacrifice again. Poor soul. So here we go. But they chose to do the classic beheading, which I don't know how many times I've seen the Doctor, like in The Visitation, in I don't know, I think it was in Snake Dance, they were going to be how many times? I think in 4 to Doomsday, Peter Davis.
Yeah, because he says not again in The Visitation, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes, oh, here we go again. How many beheadings? Yeah. So here we go. And of course, Sarah Jane might go, are you going to drug me again? I'm going to be another sacrifice, damsel in distress, am I?
And you prepare the execution.
Who is that man?
A spy.
You are blessed, my child. Few.
The only thing, John, I don't get about this cliffhanger, and Grant, I know it wasn't your choice, but when you look at this Doctor Who cliffhanger, the Doctor's not doing anything to get away. And I have to say, as a kid, I used to think, well, how would you have got out of this? Before I will show the resolution, but how would you have got? What were you planning on doing? Because if that sword comes down, your head comes off. Why aren't you running or do? You know, I didn't get it.
It's very carefully contrived, isn't it? And I have to say, I wasn't expecting that, because when I read the book first as a kid, and I kind of imagined that he would like put his head on a block, or like they do, like they used to do, where they, they put his head in the vice, and then the blade would come down and then just, chop it clean off. So I imagined it like that. I didn't actually picture that he'd just be kneeling down, and then the executioner would would take the sword and just go just like that.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a hell of a swipe. So
He's got to be a good shot as well, a good aim actually.
yeah, if the ghost of Anne Boleyn was about, she'd go, hold on a minute, this doesn't work. So here we go.
Excuse me. I like to look my best on these.
Down.
Now, I'm not buying that, John.
Well, how does, I mean, you don't see the scarf wrapped around the executioner's ankle, do you? I mean, all of a sudden it's in a perfect knot. So, yeah, it is a little bit of a lame resolution. I will admit that.
Yeah.
But
and we can both observe that because it's not your choice, so it's a nice, easy hit now.
yeah, I know. Yeah, easy. Yeah. Whereas with part 4, I mean, he doesn't really get it. Well, I mean, the count doesn't get out of it because he's. I think in the resolution you just see that he's just become, ashes. He's just like a cape full of ash.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get out of it at all. But it does leave the other Doctor free to escape anyway.
I will try and add it. Don't worry.
Excuse me. I like to look my best on these.
Now, there's me at my age going, I know, do kids like that? I mean, it looks a bit cheeky, but I always like the kind of reality to my cliffhangers that there isn't a cop-out in the next week, and I would maybe put this in the cop-out pile.
It is a little bit of a cop-out, isn't it? But, but like I said, like you said, Brendan, it's for kids, isn't it? And as a kid, I would have really enjoyed that. I mean, I would have been way too young to have caught that the first time. I think it was the day after my second birthday that cliffhanger resolution went out. So I was way too young to watch that.
Not yet then. Not on your radar yet. I mean, a good location shoot, of course. It made a lot of sense, didn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And of course, Raids, the BBC costume department, nice and easy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, I always quite like the what are they called? The pseudo historicals, I think they call them, where you mix science fiction and history. And it's one thing that the BBC can't really miss at because they do period design really well. You've got like that. You've got the Talons Wen Chiang, Horror Fan, what Pyramids of Mars, which I think is coming up in a minute actually.
Well, John, who knows with my choices? Who knows?
Well, you never know. You never know.
So there you go. We're letting John enjoy not his choice there, and so there you go. It's a new type of show I've got, John. Now I get you on.
That's all right. That's all right. You won't be the first.
So let me just confirm: Mind of Evil Part 1.
Yes.
Right, we're on the money now, everybody. So,
yeah,
John's confirmed. I call it second choice, but this is his first choice tonight. Is Mind of Evil Part 1. Here we go.
Half an hour before reporting the crime.
Have I been ill?
Yes, but his memory's a bit hazy, but it's only to be expected.
And has the process harmed him? Doctor was wondering about Mr. Kettering's medical history.
Kettering's lungs were full of water. He drowned in the middle of a perfectly dry room.
Is this the reaction we should have?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the Pertwee gurning always makes me laugh. But having said that, I think it is a great cliffhanger because of the brutality of it. Because we've already established that the Keller machine can actually kill you according to your greatest fears.
Yeah.
And it actually brings out like the physical manifestation of that as well. So with Linwood, his greatest fear was rats. and you actually see like a high up shot looking down at his corpse, and it's covered in like bites and scratches. You then got Kettering, who was terrified of water, and after the cameras cut away, after him drowning, and you see the wave superimposed over him, sort of crying out. I mean, you see that the tinge of the skin is consistent with death by drowning. So the implication is that the Doctor, if Joe hadn't come in, he would be burned to a crisp, which is for kids is terrifying. I think it's a really good, quite a brutal cliffhanger. I think.
I have to say this surprised me in a way when I watched it again, because I thought actually we're used to John Pertwee doing every actor, Chris Eccleston a lot, that there's certain things they're good at. I was just talking about Sylvester McCoy yesterday and did a bit of Gurning as well. So with this one, I actually thought John Pertwee at one point, especially in the Resolution 2, seems pretty immersed in it. And actually, I think it takes me to another level where I'm going, he does actually sound as though he's in pain. I mean, I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, it's one of the few times, I think it's the only time when he actually screams, which is very unusual.
And when I did in my last series, The Leisure Hive Part 1 with John Daly, that was one of the points we made, that Tom Baker went into that credit screaming. And Tom Baker didn't normally do a scream either, really.
Well, he did quite a few times. He does at the end of Pyramids of Mars Part 3. He does at the end of The Deadly Assassin Part 2. I mean, he screams loads in Terror of the Zygons. I think he screams more in Terror of the Zygons than Sarah Jane. But he had for quite a while. I mean, I think it was more kind of like the mid-70s Hinchcliffe era. And then the Graham Williams, he actually he's a bit more confident and a bit more self-assured. So yeah, that was the first scream that he'd done for quite a while, I think.
Yeah, he wasn't a screamer, but yeah. So John Pertwee here, I will show you. You can hear it.
Yeah, I mean that's brutal stuff. But I think maybe somebody did his trousers up too tight that day because it's a bit high pitched.
It's amazing, isn't it? This is tea time on a Saturday. You've maybe just had your tea, or you're just about to, and you're watching your hero burn. It's pretty,
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons I chose, because it is really grim, but it's also kind of quite, it's a nice contrast to the Doctor that we've seen all through that episode, because he has been carrying on like a complete arse. I mean, he's been heckling Kettering at the demonstration. He's been patronising Joe, yelling at the experts non-stop. So it's a good contrast. And one of the things that we very rarely see the Third Doctor, we rarely see that kind of side of vulnerability to the Third Doctor. I think the only other time is Planet of the Spiders Part 5, when he's forced to march around in a circle by the Great One. And it's very rare that we see genuinely frightened, which is, I think makes for a good contrast.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Because when we see the resolution a bit later, you'll see as he recovers, he then tells off Joe for not following in instructions. Yeah. And I know it's full of irony, it's a drama script after all. But of course, if she hadn't walked in the room, he wouldn't have been saved. So if she had followed orders, he'd be dead. So you keep thinking, is this the machine is still affecting your brain, and you're still in a right naughty condition, telling her off? Because this was the whole point. The prison was always off the scale when the Keller machine, when the machine kicked off, didn't it?
I think it's probably just the third, because the Third Doctor in this season is in, just full on pomp, full on pompous get, isn't he? Just constantly, it's like in the Demons when he tells her off for when he tells Joe off for criticizing the Brigadier, which is the same thing he does all the time.
Well, one of my the ones I remember doing, Terror of the Autons, when they're in that police car. He's so obsessed he's nicked a bit of the TARDIS from the Master, and he's messing with it and checking it's not crumpled. And meanwhile, it's Joe saying, we're not going in the right place. And he's going, oh, hold on a minute. She's the one who's keeping them safe. He's too selfish. It's fascinating, really, isn't it? So it's a great hairdryer, though. I mean, it's a lethal hairdryer, but it's not a
Yeah,
hairdryer.
it's
I,
the hairdryer of doom. Yeah.
yeah, but of course I shouldn't call it a hairdryer because I can see it has little kind of little metal baubles just on the top to make it look sci-fi. There you go.
I mean, I wonder if Pertwee nicked it because it's, as Terence Dicks always said, his hair gets more bouffant. So maybe he pinched it and sort of used it on the side probably.
Well, let's have a good look at this. And what we normally do when it is a clip that you've picked is, as I play it, interrupt us if there's something we haven't said that you want to pick on. Okay, I'll just set it up.
Yeah,
Half an hour before reporting the crime.
Have I been ill?
Yes. But his memory's a bit hazy, but it's only to be expected.
There's a lot of actors who are always in Doctor Who. We've got, I mean, how many?
Michael Shield must be the king, mustn't he?
Yeah. I mean, where do you start? I mean, I'm just thinking.
He's in the Ark. He's in this one, Pyramids of Mars, Invisible Enemy, Castrovalva, Remembrance of the Daleks. I mean, that's half a dozen. I mean, he's. I think he's been in more Doctor than some companions. I think.
Yeah, and then he was in Grange Hill.
Oh God, yeah, Bronson, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so this is our childhood, and that voice is almost like, it's almost up there with who did Paddington Bear's voice?
Michael Hordern.
Yeah.
Hordern. Yeah. Great days.
And has the process harmed him? Doctor was wondering about Mr. Kettering's medical history.
Kettering's lungs were full of water. He drowned in the middle of a perfectly dry room.
And that's why I included that. You said, the people were dying in very strange ways. And of course, that's good writing, isn't it? It's teeing it up because when we see the Doctor in a room where there's no fire, we do believe because it's been teed up.
Yeah. I mean, it's another great script from it's Don Horton, isn't it? And it's also quite a nice callback to Inferno as well because the Doctor saw like when in the resolution, he actually says that he witnessed the whole world go up in flames. So that's kind of like triggered his fear.
Yeah, that's a good point. That the linkage. It's a bit like when you see Frontier in space, and is it Jo sees? What does she see? It's with the.
She sees the thing from the mutants. She sees a Drashi. Oh yeah, she sees a Drashi first. And then later on, she sees one of the mutants in the Sea Devil, I think.
Yeah. And that kind of makes
really good callbacks. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, the music! I love the music as well. W. Simpson's music.
Yes, it is so distinctive, but it is quite. It's on the money, especially in this situation where you do think things are getting a bit kooky, out of control.
It's Jaws, isn't it? It's preempting Jaws by 4 years.
Yeah. And of course, I can't help but every time I watch Mind of Evil in the prison, I just think of porridge. I can't help it.
I mean, it's a shame that Fulton Mackay couldn't have come back for this story because that would have completed the link because he was in the Silurian. So really he should have been in this. But they could have hired Ronnie Barker to play, I don't know, Barnum or something.
I'm amazed, really, because you've got John Pertwee, who did work with Ronnie Barker on the Navy Lark, and you think they never got Ronnie Barker in, did they? As they say,
Yeah, I think they missed the trick, didn't they? Because I mean, he's good with the serious. He was good with the serious roles as well, but just it wasn't to be, unfortunately. Maybe that can go to like a fantasy casting. Maybe probably about 100 years in the future or something.
Yeah. Anybody who's watching this, is there a story behind Ronnie Barker that they've tried to get him in? Because I know that John Pertwee had a good crew in Navy Lark. He had some good pals, and I can't believe they failed, without trying. Anyway, here we go. And of course, you've got to wait a week now and work out how does he get out of it. And of course, I'm going to ask you the question once I've shown it. Is this a cop-out? Am I never pleased? Here we go.
Just sit down. It's all right. It's me, Jill.
What are you doing here?
Well, you wanted this report on Kettering.
I told you to take that directly to the governor's office.
I thought it was important.
So my instructions, Joe. So
Do as you're told.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a cop out. Oh, these bloody things are not fitting my ears. That's better. I don't think it's a cop out. I think Joe coming in to save the day, and also the Doctor isn't instantly kind of back to his usual self. He's actually still genuinely shaken there.
Yeah. Yes, I was really pleased with that. That had a nice authenticity. I thought, oh, you've got the John Pertwee screaming in the credits, and then you've got him really looking as, and this is not classic John Pertwee Third Doctor, is it? He was always so authoritative. And as you say, Planet of the Spiders is one of those aberrations for obvious reasons. But here, he really does look as though he was up against it, and he might have been torn. So,
I mean, he's put through the ringer quite a lot in this, because again, the same thing happens at the end of episode 3. I mean, I would have included that. Bloody things. There we go. But some of the effects are a little bit wobbly. Like, I mean, why on earth is he frightened of a war machine? Or what's the creature from the rescue?
Oh,
Killian.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I mean, why is he frightened of that? And some of those look a bit naff, but again, it's on the same lines. And again, the Doctor screams at the end of that. And after that, he takes almost the whole the following episode to actually recover from that. So he's really put through the ringer in this one. So
let's just look at his peril again, because it is unusual to see John Pertwee like this.
Just sit down. It's all right. It's me, Jill.
What are you doing here?
Well, you wanted to.
So it's only when he recovers a little bit, but that whimper beforehand.
Yeah, he's basically.
It's me, Jill.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and then he goes back to normal.
Back to So follow my instructions.
Because there is the thing with Joe Grant is he does sometimes talk to her like he is a teacher and she's a pupil. There is that.
Yeah.
And even from the first cock up when she had the Bunsen burner and the extinguisher, but
you'll have to step out there now.
Yeah, and she knows how to charm him, of course, as she does in real life. She's just she's on a winner there. So, Mind of Evil Part 1, Masque of Mandragora Part 3. So now you may have thought I've picked a dud with Masque of Mandragora Part 1, but here. Oh my God! Here is a dud, and believe it or not, everybody, it's not Dragonfire Part 1. No, it's a Colin Baker one. I will let John explain all this once I've played it. Here we go.
Go on.
What was that?
I think we should find out.
You were careless, Edworth. 5 ships destroyed, but there may be others. No, I wish to see how the Earth fleet reacts.
Of course.
Are the Celeste twins safe? Take care not to blow their hearts or minds. I shall have no further use for them.
Yes. I have procured that genius.
Do not presume upon my patience, Edward. Whatever time remains to you on Titan 3, to make certain there are no survivors from those ships.
The Doctor is dangerous!
Of course it's dangerous!
But no one could have lived through this!
No one could have lived through it, eh? You would have left one of your own kind to die.
Well, talk about me giving a performance. When you're not really mad and trying to kill me, that is.
Murderer! You destroyed mine. Now I'm going to kill you.
Now, your face has been a picture throughout that. Are you sure it's not one of your favourites?
Oh, come on, no. Actually, yeah, my wife is she's listening in as well. She's having a good old laugh as well.
Yeah, we should lie. We should lie to your wife and say this is actually one of John's favourites.
Oh, but this is a classic one. But no, this. Oh my god! I mean, where do I begin with this? I was actually going to pick a NUwho one, which was the Daleks in Manhattan, and excuse me about this. Sorry about this bloody ear thing. But I thought, no, I don't want to give any more attention to NUwho because I think it doesn't deserve it. I think it's just best forgotten. So I went with the Twin Dilemma, which is just it's just wrong on every level, really. I think the idea of the story is good. The Doctor's regeneration has gone wrong. It's it's resulted in behaving like a complete arse throughout. But the execution, I think, is terrible overall. And the reason that this cliffhanger doesn't, one of the reasons this cliffhanger doesn't work is because it comes after Caves of Androzani, and all the cliffhangers in that were brilliant. I mean, you couldn't get better than those. Whereas this is just kind of like point and shoot.
Yeah, and do you know what? And I'm torn with Twin Dilemma as a story. Yes, I mean we can really have a go at certain cliffhangers, but as a story, after Caves of Androzani, it's on a loser. But I could see elements. The thing I resent the most about Twin Dilemma is just the colour. It was so gritty, Caves of Androzani, and then suddenly you went back into classic 80s kind of, the
I
kids.
was tempted to go and get a pair of shades for this because it is just so bright. I mean, it's already I can see like dots in front of my eyes. It's just because it's just so loud.
You've got the Doctor's costume, of course. Perry is in all this check. Then you've got the two twins in very garish pajamas. And it goes on and on and on. And I'm thinking, can we just pull back? Because I still think there's a story there. I actually didn't mind the story, Titan 3 and all the rest of it. I even didn't mind Mestor. I actually was quite into all that. And it's Twin Dilemma is a rare moment for me because my mum hates Doctor Who. She doesn't get it. But I remember my mum saying in part 4, when she saw Colin Baker taking him on and I'm not having any of this, she said, I like this Doctor. And I thought, all right, okay. Well, we're on to a winner. The only other time I've heard her say that is Chris Eccleston. So it was really interesting. So it's a funny story for me. It's wrapped up in various things. And I don't
think it's as bad as it's made out to be. But yeah, that cliffhanger is not good. Because it's just so dully shot, really. I mean, it's just a literal point and shoot, isn't it? I mean, literally point and shoot.
Well, let's enjoy it for all the wrong reasons. Let's pick on it.
What was that?
I think we should find out.
I tell you one thing. I'm sure you might agree on this one, John. I got very sick very quickly of Perry and Colin Baker in the TARDIS endlessly.
It's so unrealistic, isn't it? I mean, if you really want to continue your travels in the TARDIS, if you're constantly arguing with the Doctor, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And I'm sure the two actors got sick of it very quickly as well. And it's frustrating because it's kind of like one step forward, two steps back. I mean, at the end of Two Doctors, they're quite chummy. At the beginning of Time Lash, they're squabbling again. Constant, and it's too little too late by the Mysterious Planet where they're actually getting on a bit better, like actually two normal people. But that's Eric Saywood, isn't it?
Yeah, and it didn't work on so many levels. Her American wine doesn't seem to work with it. It just doesn't work. No. It's too.
It's not a great period of Doctor Who, is it? To be honest,
no. The TARDIS is too. I don't know, too boring and white. And I know we can go back to William Hartnell, but William Hartnell's TARDIS had a lot in it. So yeah, but Titan 3 always that excited me for a moment. Then we get a nice, lovely pinky purple.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that model shot. I mean, this is when the BBC departments aren't talking to each other, and you think, right, look at that.
Yeah, I think there's a clashing styles there. I think the top of the Pops lighting crew. I think they've had to abscond, I think, and just come to this production.
And that's one thing I did applaud NUwho. I mean, they were very good at their own PR. But in 2005 and 6, when RTD would say, we have a tone meeting, and I thought, oh, that's a good idea. So everything's consistent. Obviously, the tone was sometimes wrong. But in Twin Dilemma, you think, right, what's the tone? Because that model shot looks fab. And then we get this.
And of course, the money's run out at this point as well, because it's for last in the season. Probably a lot of that money went on the Caves of Androzani.
That's right. We all love Caves of Androzani, but that's a hell of a strategic error to actually bowl such a dud to your incoming lead actor. That's
crazy. I mean, a good way would, ideally, because now we're in the age of streaming and DVD and Blu-ray and whatever. I mean, the ideal thing would be to kind of watch the first 5 minutes of the Twin Dilemma. He changes into his new outfit, and then skip the rest and just move on to the Attack of the Cybermen, which would have made a much better introductory story, I think.
Yeah, and with a nice touch of Totter's Yard and all that.
Yeah, a bit of symmetry there as well, which probably would have been better, but but then we wouldn't have got Mest or the gurning bloke who is like embolized to death. We wouldn't have got that, and all the unintentional hilarity that came with the Twin Dilemma. So maybe it's not a fair trade, I don't know.
Well, look, you had Garmin. I mean, the whole thing was wrong to me. Genesis of the Daleks, I love, and Garmin was such a key character.
Yeah, Dennis Chinnery, and he gets about a couple of lines, and then he just buggers off again.
Yeah, well, I think he saw the script, and he said, "Are these my relatives?" Oh my God, I did.
Yeah, I bet you saw a Dennis Chinnery-shaped hole in the wall of the BBC recording studios after that introduction, I think.
I mean, these almost look like Nicholas Lyndhurst did when he was a young lad when he did Prince and the Pauper, but that I don't know. I had to watch Paradise Towers yesterday for one of these shows, and Bonnie Lanford, who I think is great now. When you get that kind of theatrical acting and all that stuff, and then you get Matthew Waterhouse. And then you get these two, and I'm thinking, what is going on? Can you please get somebody decent? We've just looked at Mind of Evil with a whole list of great character actors. And here, hello, Tarquin, would you like to... Oh, dear God. Oh, I hated it.
And it doesn't help they've got a bit of a list as well, or like what Jonathan Ross has. No, I mean, I'm not on the list. They have problems with their R's, don't they?
They do. This is when you needed a bit of, the kids are watching Grange Hill, and then they get this. No. We need Tucker Jenkins in there. Get him in there.
It probably would have been. It might have been improved if they actually got, kids from Grange Hill. They don't have to be, twins, man. Well, I mean, you can have twins who don't look alike.
I think this
don't necessarily you have to have identical twins.
I think this is the problem with different parts of the BBC. When I was a kid watching BBC stuff, all the serials for kids, the Phoenix and the Carpet, Prince and the Pauper, all that sort of stuff. But then Grange Hill came along, but it was obviously Phil Redmond, and he was very, very coming from a different direction to the BBC. A bit like Mal Young when he came and was a new broom in the BBC in the early 2000s. And yet you've got the usual BBC producers who pick a middle-class type kid. It's all very kind of, and you're thinking, what century are we in? I was a kid from Middlesbrough going, I'm not getting this. I can cope with Tom Baker with a plum in his mouth. I can cope with that because he's the Doctor. But when it's these kids who are, you think, what planet are they on? They would have been, I'm sure they would have been bullied in school. I bet they were homeschooled.
Yeah. I don't really mind the posh accents, for the grown-ups. But yeah, like you say, when it's kids, it just kind of, it lowers their credibility a bit, I think. Whether, pair of posh bowl cuts, with, terrible fashion sense and problems with their R's. I mean, you couldn't get more wrong, really, could you? With
Yeah.
that?
They reminded me of two kids. We lived in a cul-de-sac at the time, and every house had two boys. So you had a footy team straight away, except not quite. There were two lads. They were never allowed out with us. And I always imagined them like these two twins going, "Oh, let's
Yeah, let's have some cucumber sandwiches, jolly what?
Yeah,
yeah.
So there's all that to go. But we had Maurice Denham, and that was a nice.
Yeah, I mean, there are some good actors in there. Yeah, I mean, Maurice Denham, even Edwin Richfield, who was Captain Height in the Sea Devils, he doesn't do too bad. The problem is he's hampered by the immobile Masque, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's not really kind of allowed to, kind of emote, from beyond that.
So this was there was a lovely scene in part 4 when Maurice Denham dies and Colin Baker's. I don't know. There was a nice because he's a Time Lord as well, isn't he? I mean, suddenly Time Lords are everywhere.
You were careless, Edworth. 5 ships destroyed, but there may be others. Oh, I wish to see how the Earth fleet reacts.
It's the dialogue as well. It's just so B-movie cliche.
Yeah. Yes. I can cope with Mestor. I can. I can't cope with the lighting. There's like you said, some of the dialogue is just too cliched.
Mm-hmm.
It just needed a bit more tidying up. We can cope with low budget. It just needed, I think, just dimming down.
Yeah.
Are the Sylvester twins safe? Take care not to blow their hearts or minds. I shall have no further use for them.
I have procured that genius.
Do not presume upon my patience, Edward. Whatever time remains to you on...
It's one thing having Perry and the Doctor arguing, and then when you have a humanoid character arguing with a slug, it takes the levels.
Yeah, it kind of tips the levels of credibility a bit, doesn't it? When you've got an old man arguing with a boss-eyed slug. I mean, it doesn't really do him any favors.
Yeah.
Does it?
Because, we were brought up on stuff like the Sea Devils say, where basically the Doctor will be talking to the Sea Devil leader saying, no, but you want to, but he's not saying, now look here, it's just, because you'd go, it's just a sea turtle arguing with a man. How does this work? It takes it beyond, doesn't it? But yeah, there went there.
3, to make certain there are no survivors from those ships.
The Doctor is dangerous!
Of course it's dangerous!
But no one could have lived through this!
No one could have lived through it, eh? You would have left one of your own kind to die.
Well, talk about me giving a performance. When you're not really mad and trying to kill me, that is.
Murderer! You destroyed mine. Now I'm going to kill you.
And yet again, when I picked the Ron Masque of Mandragora cliffhanger, and I said, why is Tom Baker just not trying to escape from being beheaded? And here, I'm going to shoot you, and all Colin Baker's Doctor does is turn away.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, that's another problem with this cliffhanger, and it's going to blight the Colin Baker years to come, because it always ends up on a close-up of his face.
Yeah.
I mean, here he looks like, that moment when you have like too much ice cream and it kind of goes right to the back of your head and it sort of gives you brain freeze. He kind of looks like that.
and I always thought I really like Colin Baker, but the Colin Baker opening sequence, when he's just too, you can see the foundation on him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's and the cheesy grin as well. It's it's all wrong, isn't it?
So I'll finish this off with a resolution. If anyone cares, tune in. Here we go.
Put down the gun. Please put it down.
No.
He was going to kill me, Perry.
Do you know what? You've picked this one for a dud. Mind of Evil, the companion again. the companion twice has just talked the Doctor into living.
Yeah, but again, I mean, it's complete contrast, isn't it? You know, because there's no real empathy there between Perry and the Doctor, whereas there is with Jo and her Doctor, I think. But again, he's not a great Doctor companion lineup, is it?
No, what a way to end that series as well. You had Caves of Androzani. There's all the usual regeneration excitement. I was excited for the Colin Baker Doctor because Colin Baker, obviously in real life, came across as very authoritative and witty and intellectual. And then Twin Dilemma is like, oh, right, okay.
He's just a boorish oaf, isn't he? You know, he just goes on about bragging how great he is, and of course he got that that moment. What the hell were they thinking when he tries to throw Perry, and you just think it's just so wrong. I think. All of it is just missed. I think that, like I said, I think the idea is good. That the Doctor's regeneration has gone wrong, but I think the execution of it it leaves a lot to be desired. I think.
Well, as a palate cleanser now, John, shall I take you to probably a nice comfort blanket place? I think.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
So this is
not very comforting for Ibrahim Namin, though.
No. But it's very anti-vaping. I would have thought this.
Yes.
Clip.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Thy humble servant welcomes thee.
Look upon my face. Look. Is this the face of Sutekh?
Spare me. I am a true servant of the great Sutekh.
I am the servant of Sutekh. He needs no other. Bring Sutekh's gift of death to all humans.
There you go. So, John.
Righty.
Why did you pick that one, if ever?
Well, I mean, it's partly because of nostalgia, because it was the very first video that I bought. Oh, actually, I had it for a birthday present for my 13th birthday, which was Pyramids of Mars on video.
Yeah.
And I just remember that and thinking, oh my God, this is, because at the time, it was just like, it was Time and the Rani that was on. And that had just started. And this was so unlike, I was quite anti Time and the Rani there. I don't mind it so much now, but it does have its faults. Whereas Pyramids of Mars was just brilliant. It was everything that, because I read the book when I was a kid, when I was 8 years old, and I was thinking, oh my God, if this is anything like the book, then we're on to a winner here. And of course it was. It was everything I expected it, and it was just brilliant. And it is my favourite story of all time.
But there's a lesson here. Never mind about anti-vaping. There's a question here he asks, and it's a bit like, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Do you phone a friend? Do you ask the audience? Because Ibrahim made the wrong mistake here. Here we go.
Master, look upon my face. Look. Is this the face of Sutekh?
Ask the audience, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. we could have given you £500,000 instead. We don't want to give you that. We're just gonna kill you off and smoke you to death instead. But sorry, Brendan, go on.
No, it's just when you look back and you think, I've served you, I've done all this, and he goes,
yeah.
I'm just going to ask you a 50-50 question here. After all this work you've done, and then you give the wrong answer. Of course, I think, like in Bullseye, here's what you could have won.
Here's what you could have won, yeah.
I do think this messenger from Sutekh should have said, well, I asked you a very awkward question. You couldn't win. I was still going to kill you. I don't know.
It's like, here we are. He's the son of Sutekh, and he's going to offer you. He's not going to offer you one of a great big speedboat with an inaccessible bow wrapped round it, which you could have won, it is that deal, isn't it? But it's a very rare cliffhanger because it's terrifying for kids, but the Doctor's not involved. He's just looking on from the sidelines with Sarah and Lawrence. But I think what makes it really scary is Peter Mayok's scream.
Yeah,
it's it's probably quite disturbing for kids, to see adults, in terror and pain and all of that. But yeah, that's probably one of the most blood curdling screams that Doctor Who's ever given, I think.
Well, the thing is, I mean, obviously for the copyright things, and I have to do these 3-second chunks. And if I could have just played the whole sequence, yeah, the scream goes on for a while as he falls to the floor. It does, last. And I totally agree with you, John. There's different screams in Doctor Who and programs. I mean, in the first series I did, the Leela's scream with a giant rat. Giant rat, yeah, we can all argue about that. But Louise,
Louise Jameson does a great scream there. But I mean, the mid-70s is full of them. I mean, practically every story, you get at least one blood-curdling scream. The one I did pick was, and another villain getting into trouble was Dunbar at the end of the Seeds of Doom Part 4.
Yes,
and again another great scream.
Yeah, and of course we'll get guests on again, even if they've been on one. Like those people when they did This Is Your Life, and they thought, well, I can't be on This Is Your Life twice. Well, well, actually, you can apparently. So, yeah, you can come on and do different cliffhanger selections, like themes or doctors, because we've been.
No, I mean there are so many great ones out there. I mean that is one thing that the new series is missing big time is good cliffhangers. It's a real shame that they've gone, I think.
It is because somebody said to me, why are you doing cliffhangers? I said, why am I doing cliffhangers with Doctor Who? Aren't they the thing? I said, that sustained me for the week. It wasn't something that happened in 7 minutes of episode 1. It was the cliffhanger. I'm sorry, my imagination was on fire. I was at school, I'd be doing all my little bits at primary school and that, but in the back of my head, I was thinking, how does he get out of this? And looking forward to it, the thrill. And as I was talking to one of my guest panelists, and they were talking about when Saturday started, whatever, your mum and dad said, we're going shopping, you're going, all right, okay, and we're going to get back in time for Doctor Who, and then Basil Brush and this and that. And you saw this whole very, very exciting countdown on Saturday to then finding out what happened in the cliffhanger. I mean, why the cliffhanger's being talked about? That's why.
Yeah, I mean, it held a lot of appeal. I mean, I suppose when I started watching Doctor Who, it was kind of at the tail end because I started watching in like 1979. And then about 3 years later, you wouldn't have to wait so long for the resolution of the cliffhanger because it went out on, it went out weekdays and it was usually like 2 at a time.
Yeah.
So it kind of diluted it a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you can have too much of a good thing. I mean, obviously, as a Doctor Who fan, you're greedy. You're going 2 a week, yeah. But of course, yes, it does. It diluted that whole structure, and probably weakened it in the end. But the other thing we've got to mention with Pyramids of Mars, I mean, the organ music. I mean, it's amazing. He's playing that organ like hell, like a Blackpool Wurlitzer, and then suddenly he stands up. And it's still going. I'm going.
And it's still playing by itself. Yeah. I mean, it's Dudley Simpson again, isn't it? I think he hired a local church organist, to actually play that. But yeah, again, it's for the kids, it's probably the stuff of nightmares. And actually, the generation game that followed the episode that followed it has actually like a Phantom of the Opera skit. And they stopped playing the organ again in that. So you can imagine kids probably thinking, oh, God, that bloody Southern Sutekh is going to appear again.
Well, John, I have seen some of your recent posts, and you do this. You're good. You suddenly say, Seeds of Doom Part 1 was on, and following it, this was the Generation Game episode. Now, you've just mentioned an example where it's an uncanny link. Are there any others you can think of?
Apart from that, oh, my God. Well, yeah, I mean, you had a Cyberman in in what was it? I think it's the 22nd of November 75, which was after the Android invasion, part one. So you had like a Star Trek skit, but then a Cyberman comes on. What else? There's K9 in a Larry Grayson generation game. I think it's 14th of October 1978. And that's straight after the Pirate Planet. And K9 actually says that he just came from the planet Zanuck to be on Larry Grayson's generation game.
We might have to do a little kind of link up on all this and Doctor Who when it's had these little moments. Have you ever been tempted to do a Crackerjack book?
No, I haven't. I should. It's the problem is there are so many episodes that are unavailable, so it would be impossible. And I thought the Generation Game book would be impossible as well because when I started thinking about it about 15 odd years ago, I thought if there weren't any episodes that were available, and then just by chance I just came across a great big pile of videos in one of those closing down sale shops, and it had all the old Generation games on it from that somebody had taped on it from UK Gold.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I wore out the tapes.
Yeah.
So I don't have those in them, but I think one or two have started to appear on YouTube in amazingly pristine condition. I don't know how the hell they did it, but hats off to them.
Well, I remember doing one show. I see a photograph and I think, oh, it's a nice little warm up item before we start talking. John Pertwee as Dracula kind of thing in Generation Game. When they did the play,
that was New Year's Day, wasn't it? And they repeated that quite recently, I think.
Yeah.
But a lot of Doctor Who actors have been in the Generation Game as well. Philip Maddock is another one. I think he popped up about twice. I think in the Bruce Forsyth time. But yeah, I mean, when I'm going through the book, I'm noticing, so and so appeared in Doctor Who, blah blah, and I think 3 of the Doctors actually appeared in the Generation Game.
You could always tell, for example, with Bruce Forsyth, you could see that he really got on with Frankie Howard. So you can see when they did the skits, you can see. I was always intrigued whether your Doctor Who actors were in or not with Bruce Forsyth. You know what I mean? Because you could tell when it was like a courtesy. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Clear off.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to tell. Yeah, I mean, because Colin Baker appears on. I think he appears on September the 10th, 77 one. And he seems to get on all right with that. I think Colin Baker plays Tonto because they do like a Low Ranger skit, and he seems to get on fine. And then Peter Davison appears twice in Larry Grayson's, and actually John Pertwee comes back for Larry Grayson's Generation Game on the Christmas Day '78 one, and they both appear to get on fine. I don't think there's any rivalry there.
Yeah, because Larry Grayson he always talked about the old films and radio shows, and I suppose John
he was classic, sort of a fan of classic movies and all those old stars and all of that. But but it was a completely different dynamic, between Bruce Forsyth and the contestants and the guests, and then Larry Grayson and the guests and the contestants as well. But but for both reasons, they both work well.
Yeah. Well, let's look one more time, and this time, obviously, interrupt. And if there's anything we've missed out on Pyramids of Land. I mean, I must admit, I'm sorry, that Tutankhamun sarcophagus. Oh.
Yeah, I just everything about this adventure is class, isn't it? And again, it's the historical kind of aspect, isn't it? With Egyptology and Doctor Who just work brilliantly together, I think.
Yeah, and look at those fantastic. I really do like those mummies. Are just off the scale. Doctor Who.
Yeah. A limited budget. I mean, what they had to work with. I mean, they were literally making episodes on like a couple of quid. By today's standards. But what they produced was fantastic. It was, you can't get better than that, really.
But this is it. It's good old Doctor at the BBC again. You've got the costume department, all their stuff from their dramas and that. So basically, the set can be done, I suppose, quite cheaply because it's in house. And then you can just lavish a little bit on this, that, and the other. Because this story stands out a mile for lots of reasons, but certainly, the lodge, all those places look fab.
Yeah.
And the Marconi scope. I mean, what a lovely touch of
The
detail.
attention to detail. I mean, the actual the cabinet organ that Namin plays. I mean, apparently it was just made out of a couple of rolled up bits of cardboard and then just painted over. But you wouldn't think that. I mean, it looks amazing.
So here we go. Here we go.
Thy humble servant welcomes thee.
This bit I love because their relationship is so complex and interesting. So remember Revenge of the Cybermen? Harry Sullivan is an imbecile. But Sarah Jane, gosh, it looked as though he was going to tick her off then, doesn't he? Whoa, his anger there.
Yeah. It's very rare for the Doctor to be, this kind of intense. But I think it's another reason why Pyramids just works so well is because, of Tom Baker's performance, because he's genuinely terrified, isn't he?
Yeah.
And it's quite rare to actually see him this, he's working on such a short fuse because he knows what the stakes are. If Sutekh is released.
So it really works. I mean, we can't mess here. You can't speak. You can't give away your position. And then Sarah sneaks in. Yes, Sarah, like Joe, has saved the Doctor many times, but this is not a good time. And you've also turned up, not in Victoria's dress, but it also looks like you're still in the Masque of Mandragora here. Can I just say, she's wearing a... Do you know, I think Liz Sladen said, shall I just wear a sacrificial white dress every week, just in case the plot takes a turn?
Master, look upon my face. Look. Is this the face of Sutekh?
Spare me. I am a true servant of the great Sutekh.
Too late.
I am the servant of Sutekh. He needs no other. Bring Sutekh's gift of death to all humanity.
You should have kept me asleep.
Jim Carrey from The Mask would have said, "Schmucking." He's
I mean, it's a very simple trick, isn't it? Just dry ice. But I believe in it. It's it looks really good. And the other thing is, I mean, I think the reason why the recent Sutekh two-parter failed is because it's the complete reverse of that. You don't believe in the new Sutekh. What was her name? That TV presenter.
The Davina McCall.
TV broadcast. No, what was she called? You had that character who was like all throughout the season, and then she suddenly.
I'm trying to remember.
I forget. But anyway, she turns into like the servant of Sutekh, and then. It turns a cameraman into dust. But unfortunately, all that is wiped out because everybody is killed off in the resolution. And of course, there's going to be a reset switch. But here you don't get a reset switch, so there's no kind of handy get out clause there, which is why the two-parter failed big time.
Yeah, too much Doctor Who nowadays does do a reset of time when actually the whole essence of classic Who was the Doctor is told not to meddle. He always meddles a bit, but don't do anything big. We all remember the scene in Frontiers. Just don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
That's the essence of it, but we can't go back and change it. The Blinovich limitation effect. But suddenly NUwho was... there was that moment in Star Beast when all the cracks in London roads and the magma was coming through, and then suddenly they're sealed again. All the potholes disappeared.
It's lazy writing, isn't it? Lazy writing.
So let's see the resolution, if there is one, because Pyramids of Mars, as you know, just goes higher and higher and higher. Here we go.
Marcus. Take up the generator loops.
Oh, and basically, John, we're just going to get on with the story. This is just, they're still hiding there in that peephole. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And another great thing about it is the opening of Pyramids of Mars, you don't return to until we see the Sons of Sutekh become Marcus Scarman, who's now, you know, a changed man, literally.
Yeah. I mean, all you need is a bit of archive footage and you're there, aren't you? Nice touch of music and you're there. I was convinced. But of course, Doctor Who works best when let's get back to some sort of mansion. You mentioned Seeds of Doom. Let's get back to a mansion. Image of the Fendal.
Image of the Fendal, yeah. And all of the period stuff like, you know, the theatre in Talon's Wayne Triangle, you know, the Lighthouse, Horror Fan Rock, that sort of thing. And of course, you know, the Palace and Masque and Mandragora. All of those, even something like the Deadly Assassin is, you know, that takes inspiration from kind of, you know, old architecture, you know, the structures of Gallifrey, you know, very kind of, you know, sort of old fashioned, the cloisters, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, there are so many examples from that period, I think.
Well, this was, barring a few aberrations, your Cliffhangers and Nail Biters show. And of course, just so we can just do one quick more advert, there's plenty of books from you, aren't there? There's just 4 of them, but there's more. Amazon's a good place to go and see these, isn't it?
It's the only place to see them, unfortunately.
But as you
yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want them, they're at Amazon. Hopefully, the second generation game one will be available. Hopefully, in November. I hope, anyway.
It'll be on the way. We know it will be. And you know, you've got the Perpetual Outsider. That's a series, isn't it? Whether it's Peter Davison, McCoy, Pertwee, Perpetual Outsider is the name of the series, really, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, I did a paperback of the Tom Baker one, which is kind of like a redux of the original ebooks I did for those, because they were divided in 2 originally, but I, you know, just kind of merged them together and just, you know, kind of rewrote them and, you know, just sort of upgraded them, really.
So there you go, John, on Amazon. Plenty of stuff. Perpetual Outsider and Generation Game. And I saw one with Mungo.
Oh yeah, I mean that was the very first book I attempted. I mean, I think I probably sold about 2 copies, if that. You know, not a great seller, but yeah, it's a kids' book. Yeah, it was. About Mungo the musical guinea pig.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, do you know what? I mean, all credit to you. Books are not easy things. They are enormous beasts, aren't they, to prepare and research and put together and self-publish. You know, God, you know, I know that's why I haven't done them.
Actually, the hardest thing is to publicise them, which is, you know, in this day and age is virtually impossible. So but, you know, there you go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As Doctor Who fans, we've just enjoyed some cliffhangers. John's got a whole lineup from Pertwee onwards, haven't you, really?
Yes. Well, I mean, I would have done the black and white episodes, but the problem is, because in my book, I kind of include like DVD reviews, and they all weren't out on, you know, available to buy at the time. And then, of course, you know, loads of them came out on DVD. Maybe I'll go back and, you know, sort of maybe think about publishing them in, I don't know, probably about 15 years' time when I'm a very old man. I don't know.
When we've found some more missing episodes, maybe.
Oh, God, yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be great?
It's sounding a bit more exciting.
It's hopeful. Yeah, hopeful. Yeah. But, you know, fingers crossed.
Well, John, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for doing this. Hopefully you'll come on again. Last time it was television history, and we played around with TV schedules, didn't we, of Doctor Who? But we could go in lots of different directions. I can see a link with Generation Game. We could do various things, but and you could come on with a different collection of cliffhangers that maybe you've picked that time. So anyway, thanks a lot, John.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you for inviting me. It's been great fun. Thank you.